off the camera. Sorry, dropped you. Okay? You alright? Feel better? Didn't get dizzy or anything? Good. Just a 3-mile hike down. It's about, I don't know, 60 degrees. Supposed to hit maybe 40 tonight. We'll talk about that a little more. It's deer season, so I'm going to mostly stick to the roads going down. Have my handy orange and try not to get shot. Okay, good. Testing out some new stuff. The pack is new. I already think it's too heavy, but I probably got too much stuff in it anyway. So I'll go over some of my gear that I'm using, and we'll start with what I'm wearing. Wearing clothes. There we go. Now you know. And hopefully they don't shoot me. It's a running theme of this trip. Don't shoot me. I'm wearing orange. If we were out here in a survival situation, that guy wouldn't have made it. As part of my continuing series on how to read signs in the woods, I present the following. See, it says posted, and there's the post. You too now know how to read signs in the woods. Alright, I've just come off the road. I'm now on the property, but not at the spot where I intend to camp. I went ahead and ducked off the road because the guy came by in a pickup truck. He was eyeing me a lot. Sure he wanted to know where the heck I was going, so I waited till he went around the curve, and then I just stepped off the road and disappeared from his point of view. Stealth camping, or stealth hiking as it were. As I thought, it was flowing. So now all I have to do is find somewhere to put that hammock. Thought I had found one I was going to hang between, say, that tree and this tree. And then I looked up. I don't know whether it shows, but right over in here there's a dead branch, and so no, the search continues. Alright, hammock is in place. This is why I think I got cold. Last time I tried this is my only the second time out with the PLUQ. There's no gap. Somebody just whistled. What the hell? I'm supposed to be the only person down here. Screw it, I'll keep talking. So I've drawn the draw cord up at least twice as tight as I did last time. This is the hammock body. This is just the backpack simulating my weight sitting on the sleeping bag. This is the hammock. Dutchware argon 11-footer. Homemade PLUQ. The end of the foot end, I may tie that up a little bit tighter, I don't know. But that's going to be home sweet home. And you'll notice there's a ridge line, but no tarp. I'm going to count on the weather forecast being correct. Because the weather forecast said 0 chance of rain, so I didn't even bring a tarp. Okay, let's talk about why the pack was so dad-blamed heavy. I already told you what I didn't bring. Let's talk about what I did bring. Probably unnecessary extra stuff, some of which I want to test to see how it works. So, you know, you got to bring it, and it's going to weigh something, so there you go. I've got that hanging up, so hopefully everybody can see it for miles around and not shoot at me. That's the theme of this trip. Don't shoot me, I are not a deer. Probably unnecessary to actually bring this heavy coffee mug, but I'm going to be decadent. I like my coffee in the morning. I'm going to try the Foster's pot. We'll go over the cook kit when I actually start cooking. And I've got a separate bowl pot thingy. Totally unnecessary. Could probably get away with just this. You know, drink your coffee out of it, then reuse it for your oatmeal, and so on and so forth. But decadence demands that I heat water in this, pour it in here for coffee, and in there for ramen or whatever the heck else I'm going to have. So some of that's decadence. This thing's indestructible. It's also heavy as hell. And who needs a bottle opener in the woods? I brought it just for the hell of it. What else do we have? Extra clothing. A warm layer. This is the insulator from a military M65 field jacket. I'm going to try that. My favorite fleece. So got that. But wait, there's more. Separate clothes to actually sleep in. LL Bean river driver shirt, cotton lining and wool exterior with some nylon. My favorite wool socks. I have gloves to sleep in and long johns. That's going to be my sleeping costume tonight. Got the fleece thingy, $2. Love this thing. I'll show you how I use it later. Piece of Reflectix. And of course the PLUQ, which I'm told and read that it will go down to 45, maybe 40. I've tried it once at 40, got kind of cold, but because I didn't have it cinched up. So this time I've cinched it a hell of a lot better, and I'm counting on the weather tonight to be no colder than, say, 35. They're saying 38 to 42, but we'll assume that maybe they're a little bit wrong. Welcome to the kitchen. Ramen ready to go, got some water, pulled it out of the creek with the Katadyn or Katadyn or however you pronounce it filter, I have no idea. More water, alcohol fuel, homemade Foster's pot to boil the water in, put the ring in myself, homemade V8 alcohol stove, hybrid side burner or whatever the heck it's called. This is to pick the pot up with when it gets hot. And wind is negligible, but that makes a good windbreak even so. So I'm gonna cook right here up against this nice rock. So we'll get back to you when we start cooking. Alright, if this doesn't work, I'll be eating cold ramen for supper. Let's add some alcohol to the burner. That's probably too much. And it's lit. Bloom, baby. Bloom, baby, bloom. There we go. And now we wait. Perfect timing. It went out just as it achieved full boil. Now let's see if we can make ramen out of that. It worked out pretty good. I'll be having a couple of flour tortillas along with that. I've got a granola bar in there. I've already had the applesauce, and I've got some chocolate for dessert. And miracle of miracles, I have made Hawaiian punch. And that's my view as I eat supper. This is Justin's almond butter, not Justin's peanut butter. Justin left it, and so I've got it. Looks kind of nasty, don't it? Like the runny kind of dog poop, like when your dog's been ill and eating stuff he shouldn't. Looks like a little poopy snake, don't it? There's his eyes, there's his head, there's his tail. Wish it was a mustard biscuit. Got my gloves. I've changed clothes. I'm wearing the river driver shirt and the liner. The long underwear. Yeah, difficult to see. And the big, thick wool socks. I'll have this on in some shape, form, or fashion after I get into the sleeping bag. And I'm gonna jump in the hammock for a while and just chill, watch the moon, whatever. Maybe go to sleep, maybe not, who knows. Morning, it's about 20 minutes after 6 o'clock. Thermometer says it's 30 to 31 degrees. I think I've exceeded the design temps for the PLUQ. Definitely had cold butt syndrome last night. I got up at 1 and got out and tightened up the shock cord some more, but I think the problem is it's a gaping open. It's letting the cold air come in and cool me off. So not as comfortable as I would hope. Might be able to do a little bit better with a pad, but on the plus side, all the extra clothes I brought came in handy. Sky's starting to lighten up a little bit in the east. Time to crawl out of the hammock and get some coffee water going. Let's see if we can get a picture of the thermometer before we shut this thing down. Yeah, it says 31, and you see the minimum is 30, so it's fluctuated a little between 30 and 31. So yeah, it's cold this morning. Let's get some coffee going. First cup of coffee, nice and hot. Sun coming up to the east. This is what it's about. This is why I come camping for the mornings. And there's the second cup of oatmeal this morning. That's the apple and cinnamon, I think. Second cup of coffee coming up as soon as the Foster pot boils, which is about to boil. Sun's coming up. Very pretty day. Still cold. So about to get that second cup of coffee and chowing the second bowl of oatmeal. Feeling nice and warm now. Feet are a little cool, but that's just because I'm sitting on the ground. And gonna eat, lollygag around a little bit, do a little bit of nothing, and then pack up and walk out of here. Still not completely pleased with the performance of the PLUQ. I realize most people say don't go below 40, 45 in them. Some people say 50. I took it down to 30 last night, but honestly I think it would have been fine, except that it was gaping open on the ends, particularly the foot end. So I don't know, maybe some supplemental shock cords running up over the ridge line, something like that. To be determined. Maybe we can get Pinky and the Brain to work on it when they're not taking over the world. Hey, look. That water's boiling. Time for the coffee. Before I pack up and get out of here, a couple of quick words about things that worked. I'll talk more about things that didn't work. Stuff that worked pretty good. Alcohol stove. No problem. Burned every time. Had 3 cups of coffee and, 2 cups of oatmeal. No moving parts. Cheap. Worked well. Foster's pot. Homemade DIY thing. Worked pretty good. Of course this worked. It's probably bulletproof. Use it as a boat anchor. Heavy as hell. That worked alright. Hammock was great. Very comfortable all night. Didn't matter that I got a little chilled. I was actually lying down by like 7:30, and I didn't get up till 6:20 this morning. That's pretty decadent. Suspension, no prob. Tree straps to a marlin spike. Whoopee slings worked great. Hung the foot end slightly higher than the head end. Whoopee sling ridge line, which I have not adjusted since I got it set the way I wanted it. not sure if this is the best way to put these continuous loops on here. I might change and go through the end, but I don't know that that gains me anything. Also might change this part out. This is just larks headed on. The whoopee sling here in yellow is larks headed on to the continuous loop. Fine on a night like last night where it was clear and cold and no rain, but if it rains, then this part's going to get wet, and I don't want to pack it up with the hammock, so I probably need to get a carabiner or something to replace that lark's head. But same thing, whoopee sling, tree strap, marlin spike, hitch, no problem. That all worked great. The pack, haven't made up my mind. This supposed sleeping bag compartment it doesn't work for me, but it does work for the hammock, the suspension, the PLUQ, and a bunch of other stuff. This little pocket is very nearly useless. I didn't realize this until I tried to stuff things into it. It's sewn, these straps are sewn through this pocket, so the pocket, while it looks like it's way big over here and stretches, really doesn't stretch at all, and it's tacked down here and here. Not sure how much I like that. These pockets are okay, first aid kit and some other stuff's in there. The pack itself is plenty big, but it's also plenty heavy. It's about 5 pounds empty. I have cut some weight off of it, took a bunch of the zipper pulls off and replaced them with paracord, and took the top 2 loops off, not permanently, they can be put back on, but took some of the heavier parts off, but that's just picking around the edges. It's still a heavy pack. Good thing is it's built like a freaking tank. I think I could drag it behind a car and it would probably still work. And it's comfortable. Once you get it on your back, very comfortable, just a little bit heavy. Hey, we're up to 32 degrees now, and look at this. That looks like, I don't know if you can see that, looks like water. It's not, it's ice. It's condensated ice on the hammock. Nice. That's where I was staying, right down in there. Can't even tell I've been there. Sun's coming up over the trees. And that's my way out. So let's walk it. Nothing that I used and nothing that I made came out of my own head. If it wasn't for guys on hammockforums.net and some other people, Just Jeff's hammock camping page, among others, Derek Hansen, Shug, of course, with his wonderful videos, Syntax 77, Trail Killer, and other people I'm probably forgetting to mention. All the stuff, the DIY cook pots, I think Intense Angler or somebody clued me into that. In other words, I am riding on the coattails of all you guys. There's nothing that I used or nothing that I made that came out of my own head. I'm not smart enough to do that. And you see from the way I fumble around, I'm certainly not an expert at any of this. I'll probably trip and fall while I'm videoing this. Well, which actually might be a pretty good idea, because then I could, it'll probably make the greatest fails of the month or something, and I'll get a lot of hits and get rich, and then I won't have to do this shit anymore. Thanks, guys and gals. Time to go home.